Welcome back once again. This is Lab 7.7. We're talking about accounts receivable turnover here. And we have a balance sheet and an income statement for Southgate. And accounts receivable turnover is the ratio of credit sales to the average accounts receivable. So it's the number of times you collect your accounts receivable and reestablish them through credit sales. So the number of times you pay them out and then start them up again. So in this case, we've got accounts receivable 66,200 and 58,100, and we've got 2013 58,100 and 2012 55,500. Now, when we actually have enough information, we usually calculate the average if we've got enough balance sheet information. So if we've got a ratio which compares an income statement item to a balance sheet item, usually the balance sheet item we take the average between the open and the closing, because then it represents the same period in which we've earned the sales in this case, or which we've experienced the income statement item. So inventory turnover would be cost of goods sold divided by inventory. The inventory would be an average inventory. This one, accounts receivable turnover, is sales divided by average accounts receivable. Now, sometimes you don't have that luxury. Sometimes we only had the 2014 and the 2013 balance sheets here. We would use those balances rather than the average. But in this case, we've got enough information to do the average. So let's do the calculation. In 2014, our sales were 1135,400, and we divide that by the average of the accounts receivable. And there's a couple of ways we can do that. We can add them up and divide by 2, or we can divide each one by 2, and that's probably the quickest way to do it. So we're dividing each one by 2. That gives us the 18.27 accounts receivable turnover. Okay, do that again for 2013. The sales amount is 975,200, and we're dividing by 58,100 divided by 2 plus 55,500 divided by 2. So 17.17. The accounts receivable turnover is a measure of the efficiency, liquidity and efficiency of collection. It could be liquidity of receivables, but not really. Liquidity of receivables talks about how quickly it can be turned into cash, not how quickly we actually have turned it into cash. So liquidity and efficiency of collection, I think, is the right answer. If we look at all the other ones, I don't see any that strikes my fancy quite as much. Okay, so is this better or worse? In this case, we went from 17 up to 18. The more turns, the better. That means we're generating more sales from the same accounts receivable credit policy and all the other stuff that goes together with accounts receivable. So that's better. Let's see what Lyrics thought of that answer. Lyrics agreed. We're done.